What it is, y'all, it is your old boy Pilk, and unfortunately, we do not have a new episode of Daima today, but I did want to come back and talk a little bit about this. We have episode 13 that's actually coming out in about a week's time. Why they're taking the day off, it could be any number of reasons. I'll be honest with you, if you guys follow me on my other channel where we're talking about the current debacles going on with the Danmachi series, it's nice to have an anime studio that knows how to pace itself, and I knock at JC staff all the time, but Toei seems to know how to pace themselves. They're very professional when it comes to this, so taking a week off is really not that big of a deal. What I do want to kind of discuss, so like I said, episode 13 will be out on the 10th of January, but the big thing I want to kind of come here and talk to you guys today about is what we can expect out of the second half of this series, or second, I guess, season? It's like normal anime season, about 12 episodes now. Give or take. That has changed over the years. I remember when it was like 24 episodes, but I'm not going to old man yell at the clouds. We're just going to go ahead and jump back into the topic here. But when we kind of pick back up here, remember Goku and Vegeta they've each acquired a Dragon Ball. Technically, I guess the crew has 2 Dragon Balls to their name, but Majin Buu, and with the help of Majin Buu, was actually able to obtain the first Dragon Ball, the first Demon Realm Dragon Ball. So there's 3 Dragon Balls, but now Dr. Aranisu actually knows that the crew has the other 2 Dragon Balls. They do not know that she has a Dragon Ball. So I'm sure at this point we are going to pick up with them trying to quest to Tamagami 1, attempting to find the Dragon Ball and then finding nothing in the wake. Which will be interesting in and of itself. But number 2, they now have to face off against Majin Buu and Majin Buu. Now, let me pose a couple questions here for you, because this really does kind of bring up some interesting topics. Number 1, we are going to see the first Demon Realm. I don't think we're actually going to skip over that. I do kind of feel like we do still need that bit of adventure. I think we're going to have 3-4 episodes of them getting to Tamagami 1, the various ongoings and weird creatures. We already seen those mouse creatures from the previews and all that kind of stuff. So we do know that there is going to be some level of adventuring going on out there. Now, unfortunately, I'm not a big enough content creator that I don't have an in at Toei to tell me specifically what's going to be coming. And rather than spoiling things and things like that, I want to have a fun little speculation video here. So, but I will keep it brief, because I know these can get tiresome. So let's really kind of get to the meat and potatoes of this. Like I said, we know that they're going to be adventuring. We know they're going to have their ongoings, and we know they're eventually going to get, we can reasonably suspect that that's how this is going to go down. And they'll probably get a Tamagami 1, and then they'll have to go, oh, where is everything, right? But there is eventually going to be a face-off against Majin Buu and Majin Buu, and to a lesser extent, Dr. Aranisu. So when we come to that point, so to speak, what do you guys think is going to happen? Because it's pretty obvious that Majin Buu is very different from Buu. Buu is a dangerous adversary. Buu was an unserious adversary at the end of the day, but well adept, well fighting, and extremely unpredictable. I would argue that Majin Buu definitely is none of the above. Oh, well, no, he's unpredictable and he's weird, but I don't think he really has the fighting prowess. I think he's lacking some other stuff. Also, can we take a quick moment and talk about the aesthetic of Ku and Du versus Buu? Because it bothers me that they're basically just golden Majin Buu. Let's be real here. Or, well, Ku is technically golden Cyberman, but I wish there was a different aesthetic. I don't want them to kind of copy that whole Frieza thing. I want them to kind of like form their own beings. I almost wish they were just kind of that Majin Buu color, or some of the off colors that we saw in some of the, if you guys go back to the old Dragon Ball Online games and things like that. But nevertheless, just a little rant there. Majin Buu and Majin Buu, I am going to reasonably surmise that at some point they're going to have to fuse, because Majin Buu definitely is the brains of the operation, and Du is the brawn. Now, how do you think that's going to happen? Do you think they're going to amicably, use the fusion insects and fuse themselves, or do you think Doo's just going to get irritated and eat Ku, or Ku's just going to give himself up amicably and then become the wholesome? I really just feel like that's where they're leading this. Now, the interesting part about this is that Majin Doo is obviously very strong-ish. I will say ish. Because this picks up between Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super. Yes, I know there's some, especially when you talk about like Kibito Kai and all that stuff. Like, I know there's still some strings attached. Definitely some weird stuff going on there. But take away from that for a moment and think about like the power scaling level of this, because we're between the two series. So we don't have God Ki yet. Like, it's not a thing. So we really only have like the Super Saiyan 1, 2, and then we finally saw 3. Well, we even saw 2 and 3 in the same episode with Vegeta for the very first time. So we've got to work within the confines of that. Now, do I want to see them pull 4 out? Absolutely. I would love for them to canonize 4, because I think at this point it's pretty obvious that GT is its own thing, and as it probably should be. But I love that form. So, number 1, would you like to see Super Saiyan 4 be introduced into the Daima canon, as we'll call it? Number 2, when Doo faces off, it's pretty obvious that he and Vegeta are Super Saiyan 4 or Super Saiyan 3 kid Vegeta? I don't know. I don't really know how to scale that, but it seems like they're pretty much on par. And if you want the argument for that, remember, Doo was just playing around. Doo never got serious, if he even has the ability to get serious. Doo was just kind of goofing off. Vegeta, on the other hand, was he with Super Saiyan 3, wiped the complete floor with Tamagami 2. Like, it was not even a contest once that happened. So I think that's an interesting little kind of just tidbit there. But so I don't get too, off the cuff here, let's kind of wrap it back around to my whole point. If Ku and Doo do fuse in some way or another, do you think Goku and Vegeta were? Now, we already had them introduce the bugs that allow two people to fuse in the beginning of the series, and we knew that there was a new version of fusion on the way. Vegeta's refused to eat the bugs. Once again, it kind of goes back to the whole finger fusion thing. But we've seen Goku and Vegeta fuse in 2 different ways before with 2 different results. So here's my question for you. This is like the biggie. Do you think they're going to have to fuse to take on the fusion of Ku and Doo? Which I honestly think is going to be significantly more of a threat, because Ku will allow him to be a little more focused with his abilities and probably have more fighting prowess. Though Doo is definitely the brawn that is going to bring a level of strength, and the unpredictability that's going to bring a level of danger to the whole thing. So do you think that the end of whatever this next arc is, before we get like the showdown with everything else going on there, like when they recover Dende and all that, do you think the final showdown with Majin Ku and Majin Doo will involve fusion? And if so, do you think that it's going to require them to fuse? And if they do fuse, how do you think that fusion is going to work? Because we've already seen a fusion where Vegeta was essentially the main personality. We've seen one where Goku's the main personality, Gogeta and Vegito. And if you wonder why it's Vegito and not something else, it's because Vegeta always calls Goku Kakarot, or Kakaroto in the Japanese. So, will we see another type of fusion? And what will it look like? Do you think it'll even happen? Do you think it's even going to be necessary? All just thoughts that I had on the top of my head. Conversations I would love to have. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. As always, we'll be back next week with a review of Dragon Ball Daima number 13. But for now, comment away. We'll catch you on the next one.